The office is a cathedral of glass and ego at 3 in the morning. I've lived here for 6 months, building the Phoenix algorithm. It was meant to be the firm's salvation, my salvation. Marcus, my boss, used to check in every hour, his shadow stretching across my keyboard. He didn't understand the math, but he understood the optics. He called me partner until the code actually started working. He'd lean over my shoulder, smelling of expensive cologne and desperation, asking if it could scale. I told him it could rewrite the market's DNA. He just smiled. The silence of the building was the only thing that felt honest back then. We were building a ghost in the machine, and I was its only witness, or so I thought. Every variable was a decision, every function a sacrifice of sleep. Marcus watched the progress bars like they were his own stock options. He was already spending the credit. By the time we hit the alpha phase, he had stopped bringing me coffee. He started bringing the managing director to my desk instead. He spoke for me. He spoke over me. He reframed my breakthroughs as his strategic oversight. I was the hands, he was the brain. That was the narrative he was seeding in the halls. I didn't realize that in a world of mirrors, the person who holds the light gets to decide what is real. And Marcus was holding all the lights. Then the board moved the deadline. They didn't want a report, they wanted a live demonstration for the global shareholders, a performance of technical dominance. Marcus spiraled. He didn't know how the back end handled the edge cases. He didn't know why the derivation required a triple check on the ingestion layer. He spent 3 hours in my office demanding I simplify the logic for the deck. He wanted to look like a genius without having to be one. I told him it was impossible. The stakes were $5 billion in liquidity. If the Phoenix failed live, the firm would be gutted. Marcus knew this. He wasn't afraid of the failure. He was afraid of being seen. He started taking the raw source code home. He said he needed to internalize the flow so he could present with authority. He didn't even have a compiler installed. I watched him through the glass. He was rehearsing my technical explanations in front of a mirror, stumbling over the word derivation. He looked like a man drowning in his own ambition. The board was calling him directly now. They had stopped CCing me on the prep emails. I was being erased in real time, one deleted thread at a time. He told me he would handle the preliminary briefing alone. He said I looked tired and should take the morning off. That's when the isolation began. I watched the internal feed from my kitchen. Marcus was standing in the center of the light, gesturing to my charts like they were his own pulse. He was radiant. The board was enamored. They didn't see the sweat on his upper lip, or the way he skipped the derivation slides I had explicitly warned him were critical for the demo. I tried to log in to the version control system. Access denied. I tried the Slack channel. You have been removed from this workspace. The silence was louder than any argument. I was a ghost in my own machine. I had built the engine, but Marcus had stolen the keys and changed the locks while I was still inside. It was a perfect, quiet execution. My team stopped answering my texts. They had seen which way the wind was blowing. Loyalty in corporate life is a luxury nobody can afford when the VP is watching. I went to the office to pack my things, but security stopped me at the elevators. They said my credentials had been flagged for review. Marcus hadn't just taken the credit. He had turned me into a security threat to protect his own lie. He needed me gone so there would be no one left to say the word no during the demo. But he forgot one thing. I didn't just build the engine. I built the floor it was standing on, and I knew exactly where the weak boards were. The PR release went out Monday. It called Marcus the architect of the new era, a visionary who had spent years perfecting the Phoenix logic. My name was nowhere. He reframed my exhaustion as his vision. He told the CEO he had personally overseen every line of logic while I was just technical support for the interface. A lie in plain sight. The firm's valuation jumped 12% on the news. The lie was becoming the truth because it was profitable. Nobody asks questions when the numbers are green. Marcus was being fast-tracked for the managing director role. He was already picking out the art for his new corner office. He had won. The system had rewarded the betrayal. I watched him on a morning news segment talking about human-centric AI and ethical derivation. He used the very phrases I had written in my private journal, my thoughts, his mouth. He looked so comfortable in the lie. That's the danger of people like Marcus. They start to believe their own spin. They forget that reality doesn't care about PR. I received a final email from HR, a severance package with a non-disclosure agreement, $500,000 to never speak the truth. It was an insult disguised as a gift. I didn't sign it. Instead, I opened my personal laptop and accessed the one backdoor Marcus's security team hadn't found, because I hadn't built it yet. I spent that night in the back end of the Phoenix architecture. Marcus thought he had locked me out, but he didn't realize the system had a soul, and I was its priestess. I didn't delete anything. That would be too obvious. Instead, I introduced a dependency, a tiny, beautiful variable that required a manual derivation override during live ingestion. To anyone looking, it appeared like a standard security update. But to Marcus, it was a ticking clock. A question he wouldn't know how to answer when the world was watching. The Phoenix was now a trap. It would perform perfectly in every simulation, but the moment it hit the live TV feed, it would ask for its father, and it would find a stranger. The demo was scheduled for Friday, prime time. The world would see the Phoenix rise, or they would see it burn. Marcus was already inviting the press to the after party. He was so confident. He had rehearsed the slides 1,000 times. But slides are just pictures. He didn't understand that the math was a conversation, and he didn't speak the language. I felt a strange calm. For the first time in months, I wasn't the victim. I was the architect of a different kind of structure. A structure designed to collapse under the weight of a lie. Then, my phone buzzed. It was Marcus. He was calling me an hour before the show. The wire was already around his neck, and he was asking for help. He sounded breathless, his voice a thin wire of panic wrapped in a layer of false confidence. "Elena, just a quick sanity check on the live feed integration," he said. He didn't say thank you, he didn't say I'm sorry, he didn't even ask how I was. He just needed one more piece of my mind to complete his costume, one last line of code. I told him exactly what he wanted to hear. I told him the system was fully autonomous. I told him the derivation layer was self-correcting. I lied with the grace of a professional. "You're a team player, Elena," he whispered. "I'll make sure the board knows your contribution, eventually." We both knew that eventually was a grave for my career. I hung up and watched the clock. The betrayal was complete, but this time it was a mutual agreement. He was betting his life on a machine he didn't understand. I was betting on the truth. The red light went on. Marcus stepped out into the spotlight, wearing a suit that cost more than my first car. He looked like a god. He looked like the future. He looked like a thief. He started his speech. He used my words, my metaphors, my passion. The CEO sat in the front row, nodding like a proud father. The world was leaning in, ready to be lied to. He reached the slide titled Live Derivation. This was it, the moment where the Phoenix would either fly or fall, and Marcus was the only one in the cockpit. The demo reached the critical moment, the live data ingestion. This was where the Phoenix was supposed to prove its genius to the world. Marcus clicked the start button with a flourish. The room held its breath. The loading bar stuttered at 99%. Marcus kept smiling, but his eyes were darting toward the technical director in the wings. Silence. Then, the screen on stage suddenly turned a deep, bruised red. A single prompt appeared in white text. "Parameter derivation required. Please input logical foundation to proceed." Marcus stopped talking. The silence in the studio was absolute, broken only by the hum of the cooling fans. He tried to bypass it. He clicked skip. The system refused. The host leaned in, sensing the blood in the water. "Marcus, tell us how the system reached this conclusion. The derivation is the heart of the invention, right? Show us the math." He babbled about high-level synergies and proprietary logic, but the prompt stayed on the screen, a digital witness to his fraud. The architect was suddenly just a man in an expensive suit. He looked directly into the camera, and for the first time, the world saw the empty space where his brilliance was supposed to be. He had the notes, but he didn't have the song. The stock price started to dip before the commercial break. The new era was lasting exactly 6 minutes, and I was the only one who knew how to stop the bleeding. The news cycle was brutal. By the time Marcus walked off that stage, he wasn't a visionary, he was a liability. The CEO didn't even look at him as he passed. The air had turned cold. The clip of his silence went viral within an hour. The man who forgot the math. It was a meme before he even got to his car. The reputation he spent a decade building was gone in seconds. I received a call at 10 p.m., not from Marcus, from the CEO. His voice was different now, no longer the proud father, but a desperate king trying to save his kingdom. "Elena, we need you." I walked back into that building at midnight. The security guards didn't stop me this time. They opened the doors. They knew who really owned the Phoenix now. Power had shifted in the dark. The CEO didn't apologize for the isolation or the access denied messages. He just pointed at the screen. "Fix it," he said. He offered me Marcus's office and a $3 million bonus. I didn't fix it. I explained that the technical glitch was actually a feature, a safety protocol against unauthorized use. I made the theft of my work the reason for the failure. I owned the lie now. He signed the contract without reading the fine print. He needed a hero, and I was the only one available. I took the office, I took the money, and I took the authority he had stolen. By Monday morning, Marcus's name was being scrubbed from the building. The architect had been dismantled, but the damage to the company's soul was just beginning to surface. I watched from my new window as Marcus was escorted out by security. He didn't have a box of belongings, he didn't have anything. He was just a ghost leaving a haunted house. The SEC investigation started on Tuesday. They didn't just want to know about the failure, they wanted to know about the misrepresentation. Marcus had signed the filings, he was the one in the crosshairs. I provided the investigators with the original logs, the ones showing my name on the code and Marcus's name on the spin. It wasn't betrayal, it was documentation. The truth is a brutal weapon. The stock was delisted by the end of the week. The Phoenix project was officially scrapped. The firm lost $4 billion in valuation. They'd rather lose everything than admit a thief was in charge. The CEO resigned on Friday. He couldn't survive the fallout. I was the only one left in the wreckage with a clean record and a full bank account. I had won, but the house was on fire. I looked at my reflection in Marcus's old mirror. I didn't feel like a hero. I felt like a survivor who had burned the forest to kill one predator. The air tasted like ash and victory. Marcus called me one last time. He didn't ask for money or help. He just asked why. I didn't answer. Some questions are their own punishment. I just let the silence settle. He stole my project. I let him keep it. And in the end, the weight of it was enough to crush him. But I was still standing in the ruins, and the ruins were mine. The office is quiet now, a different kind of quiet, the kind that comes after a storm when everyone is waiting for the next one. People look at me differently. They see a different predator. I see other versions of Marcus now, younger, hungrier ones. They watch me from the corners, waiting for me to slip, waiting for their chance to take the credit for my next breakthrough. The system didn't change, it just found a new host. Marcus is gone, but the incentives that created him are still in the walls, in the blood of the building. The lie is just resting. I have the office now, but I sleep even less than before. I'm no longer the one building the code, I'm the one guarding the locks. And I know how many people have the keys. The Phoenix algorithm is being sold to a competitor for pennies on the dollar. My life's work is being picked apart by vultures, and I'm the one who opened the door for them. Consequence is a slow poison. There are no clear heroes here, no clear villains, only the cost of doing business in a world that values the presentation over the foundation. We all pay the price, eventually. I watch the sun rise over the city, and I wonder if the next version of me is already working in some basement, building a better trap. I hope she is. I hope she's ready. He stole my project. I let him keep it. And in the end, we both got exactly what we deserved. The truth is never free. It just waits for the highest bidder.